This is 10 pieces of advice for new health coaches who don't want to be broke. My name is Uriel Kim. I'm the CEO and founder of Healthpreneur. We help health professionals grow successful coaching businesses online without the grind. And if you're a new health coach watching this, you're most likely looking to grow your business. You want to get clients and you want to do so in a way that provides you with a stable income where you can eventually create financial independence. Great job, because you deserve that in the service of other people. So just to give you a bit of context before we dive into this, I've been online since 2005. I built and sold my previous company, which was in the online health space. We helped 500,000 people to better health. I was a number 2 New York Times bestselling author. And that all happened on the backside of spending 3 years being dead broke, not knowing how to build the business, not knowing how to reach it and help more people. And eventually I figured some stuff out and went on to build one of the most trusted health brands on the internet. Years later, I sold that business and started Healthpreneur. For the past 7 years, we've been helping health professionals and coaches grow their coaching businesses, and we've helped thousands of clients now. They've generated more than $217 million in revenue with our help, and they've helped hundreds of thousands of people to better health. So I'm sharing this with you from actual real-world experience, not theory, not listening to someone else and regurgitating their stuff. So pay attention, because you're going to be learning from 20 years of experience. Let's dive into it. So first piece of advice is, if you're starting out, you got to start out for free. Here's what I mean by this is, when you're building a coaching business online, the biggest barrier you have to overcome is a lack of trust. You see, in a brick and mortar, people walk into the clinic or the gym and they're already half sold. Like, you already have that physical proximity. The trust is kind of built. You don't get that online. And when you consider that in conjunction with a lack of experience, you're going to have a very hard time enrolling clients. So because of that, you have to take on more of the risk than the prospective client does when you're starting out. And that means you have to be willing to trade your service for free in exchange for experience and social proof. So I actually started this when I was in nutrition school. The first time now that I think back to this, I worked with about 15 people for free. Like, they were my beta testers, my case studies. I had to take what I was learning in school and apply it with actual humans. Now, I was still going through school, so I obviously didn't have the right, if you will, to charge for that. And it's the same here. It's like, even though you might have graduated from a school or you're now a certified health coach, you still have to earn the right for people to pay you money. And that's not going to happen until you are an expert, like truly, like, I am the best at what I do, and I have proof to back it up. So the first piece of advice, as I said, is you have to be willing to work with clients for free for the first 10, 15, maybe 20 clients. And what that's going to help you do is it's going to give you more confidence, and it's going to give you more social proof. Because essentially what you're going to say is, you're going to say, hey, I'm looking for X number of people who want this. I want to work with you for free in exchange for testimonial, video, written, etc. And that's basically the exchange you're making. We actually call this the trade. We have a bit of a formal process for our clients in our entry-level program to use this. And here's what actually happens is, number one, you'll get people that will not show up because it's free, so they don't pay attention. That's fine. But for everyone who does, they'll actually move through this and they'll give you great feedback. And a percentage of those people are going to want to stay on with you as a paying client. So let's say you take on 20 clients for free, and 5 of them stay on with you to pay you $2,000, $3,000, whatever it might be, for the next couple months. That's awesome, right? Because you've earned the right, you've built the trust, you've shown them results in advance, and now they're like, hey, what's next? So it's a really nice way to start your business, as opposed to trying to sell a course for $100 online no one's going to buy, right? Don't waste your time with that stuff. So start for free, but not like, here's a free course. Like, work with people in person, in the trenches, on Zoom, virtually, however you're doing it. Get the experience, build your confidence, get the social proof, okay? Now, the second piece of advice, which actually goes hand in hand with this, is be willing to narrow down, like niche down, because although you can bring on these 20 initial clients and a variety of different things, like, what you want is social proof in one specific vertical. So if you help people with eczema, right, if that's your niche, you're much better off having 10, 15, 20 pieces of social proof there, as opposed to having some eczema, some weight loss, some IBS, some whatever else. And then you've got 1 or 2 just around eczema. And it also helps you streamline your delivery, because now everyone's going to go through the same process, and everyone's not at different positions and different situations. You have one core audience, And that means your messaging becomes more powerful. Like, I help women with eczema enjoy beautiful skin. Want to work with me for free? Click here to find out more. Like, that is much more compelling than I'm a health coach and I help you improve your vitality. Like, what does that even mean? And who are you helping? And then you go to the website, which, by the way, you don't even need. Okay, so don't even waste your time building a website. No one's going to see it. No one cares. You clarify who you want to serve, the single target market. And also remember this. Let me ask you, who would you rather work with? A generalist or a specialist? Like, if you were looking for business coaching to help you grow your health coaching business, would you want to work with a general business coach, or would you want to work with someone who specializes in working with health coaches? The answer is obvious, right? We all want a specialist. If you had a leak in your roof, would you call the general contractor or a roofer? So everyone wants to work with a specialist. And if you're worried about alienating people, guess what? You will. And that's okay. You weren't going to help everyone anyways. But you can definitely help yourself and a very large percentage of the market by, at least, when I say very large, I mean, it's all relative, like 0.00001% of the total population. But nonetheless, you want to be known as a specialist for a very narrow sliver of the market. Because even with that, like, even if you look at diabetics with 38 million Americans, probably actually even more, to be honest, like, are you going to help all 38 million? No way. You could even do that in 1,000 lifetimes. So by narrowing down, you get seen as the person more likely to be chosen by someone who has that issue just because you've positioned yourself as a specialist in that area, as opposed to just, hey, I'm a health coach. So really, really narrow down. And you've probably heard the saying, the riches are in the niches, 100%. Okay. So the single most important first step we help our clients do is narrow down to who is best for them to serve. So third thing, we talked about starting for free, niching down. And then as you kind of build traction, you're going to start charging for your services. Now you might ask, okay, well, what do I charge? It's a great question. Honestly, pricing, there isn't a lot of economical rhyme or reason to this when it comes to charging for a service. It's very much like you're charging for thin air. We're not talking about like, hey, here's this widget, how much is it? No, it's like, here's this service, here's this outcome, here's this pain you're dealing with. These are all like ethereal concepts. How much is it worth to someone to help them lose 20 pounds? I don't know. It can be worth $10 to someone. It can be worth 10 million to someone else. And so it's your job to get very good at having conversations with your prospective prospects. And we'll get to this in a moment around how do they see the value in changing? Because they have to be at a certain level of pain to want to change. And the more people pay, the more they're going to show up. The more they show up, the better results they get, right? The more people pay, the more they pay attention. The more they pay attention, the more they get the payoff. So we typically recommend pricing a coaching program in the neighborhood of about $2,000 to $5,000 as a starting point. The most important thing around that is really like for you to feel convicted at whatever price point you're selling. So if you don't feel confident to charge $5,000, don't do that. Start at $2,000, start at $2,500, start wherever you want, where you can fully get behind talking to someone and be like, listen, I understand that this is more than you wanted to invest, potentially, but this will be the least amount of money you ever spend on your health. Because right now you're spending 5 times as much on a house or on a mortgage, but what are you investing in your real house, the one you're living in? And so really getting good, and we'll come back to this in a second, at having these conversations, but it only makes sense to have conversations with people if you're charging a premium price. You're not going to even want to get out of bed in the morning for charging $100. And I'm not talking about per session, I'm talking about for an outcome. So if you help someone eradicate eczema, and it takes you 2 months to do that, it's $2,000 for 2 months. How many sessions do I get with you is irrelevant. It's here's the process, and at the end of the process, we get the outcome. Well, how many one-on-one sessions do I get? It doesn't matter. Like, does speaking with you one-on-one help the person's outcome? Probably not. And that's where you really want to start thinking about how we extract our magic into a curriculum that people can follow, in addition to your coaching layered on top, where they can make a lot of progress without you being with them every single step of the way. So charging for a higher price is not about you getting paid what you're worth. It's about you charging what the outcome is worth. And no matter what health issue you're helping people solve, I can promise you that you're still going to be undercharging. We had clients that started off at $2,000. They've moved their way up to $7,000. We have a client that's charging $30,000. And it's not that you're helping wealthy people. None of our clients help the 1%. None of our clients have clients who have private jets. They're all dealing with average, everyday people who have simply made it a priority to invest their time and money to take their situation seriously. Because if they don't, there's a lot of people that talk about wanting to change and make things better. But when push comes to shove, the only thing that matters is where are you spending your time, where are you spending your money. Those are the only two things that clarify what's important to you. That's it. So for instance, if you say your kids are everything, but you never see them, they're not important to you, right? I hear this all the time. Well, I'm working really hard in my business so I can create a beautiful life for my family, but I never see them. Then you're full of shit. Like your family's not that important. Stop playing that story up. And I'm not saying this is you. I'm just saying like there's that story out there that we've been, whatever. So anyways, so you want to be charging a price that's going to bring in good quality people, because you're not going to be bringing in quality clients if they're paying you little to nothing, right? So again, context, you start off for free, you earn your stripes. Over time, you start charging, and then you just start building up your pricing over time. When I started our company, our pricing at the time was 5 times cheaper than it is now. And that's simply because our program has become infinitely better than what it was when I first started 7 years ago. And so it'll continue to go up in price over time. That's just the way it's going to be. So because we're going to continue making it more and more effective for our clients. And it's not about gouging people. It's about providing them better service, a better experience, and better results. Okay, so number 4, the fourth piece of advice I want to share with you here is that your product matters. When I say your product, I mean like the solution you're providing for people. It matters, but it doesn't matter if no one knows about it, right? There's nothing more frustrating than being the best kept secret that no one knows about, right? It doesn't matter how good you are if no one knows who you are. And so what that means is you really have to commit to mastering marketing. You're in a position where you're relatively new, and there's this, contemplation of, I need to add more tools to my toolkit, which you probably don't, but that's okay if you want to. But let's not confuse that. These tools, like more certifications, with, let me do the real work. Let me promote myself. Let me show the world who I am. Let me shine my light so I can start attracting people into my world and actually help them. Because nothing you do matters until you actually work with and help clients. Everything else is deliberation. And this is probably the biggest reason that most health coaches on average earn between $37,000 to $50,000 a year. And you can be making that in a month and more. Maybe not right away, but that's what many of our clients do. And it's because you understand how to market yourself, how to message, how to position, how to communicate your expertise in a way that is meaningful to the people you're looking to serve. But if you think that you're simply going to take a couple certifications or add more certifications or go back to school for another couple of years because you think that's going to make you better and more confident, it might a little bit, but I'll tell you what's going to make you way better is actually working with people who are paying you money, is actually putting your reputation on the line by really being invested in working with clients, by having real conversations and getting people to spend money with you, and then you providing an amazing experience and outcome for them. That's the best way you'll learn. I didn't go to school for an MBA. I have no business coaching certifications. I don't even know if those exist. And quite honestly, I don't give a shit. Because what I do have is 20 years in the school of hard knocks, which is actually building businesses in the trenches day in and day out, making hundreds of millions of dollars for myself and my clients, and building a beautiful quality of life in the process, and going through years of struggle over and over and over again. You see, what a lot of people do is they go to school to avoid that. And all you're doing is delaying the inevitable, right? You could go to school for a couple more years, get an MBA, get a master's, get a PhD, whatever. And all you're doing is you're delaying the inevitable pain that you will undoubtedly deal with as an entrepreneur. So again, as a health coach, you could work as a health coach within another company. If that's you, this video, and I probably should have said this at the start, is that this video is not for you if that's your goal, okay? If you want to have a job in someone else's business, this isn't for you. But if you know you want to build your health coaching business, there is no substitute for learning and mastering marketing, period. Number 5 is following suit is mastering the art of sales. Marketing and sales are the only two things you should be obsessively focused around or focused on for the first $500,000 in your business, minimum. And that is with the assumption that you're actually good at helping clients achieve a result. Okay? So again, we're a little bit further along. We worked with our kind of 3 beta test clients. We got some proof. We have some traction. We have more confidence. And now you're starting to charge whatever it is, $2,000, $3,000. And now the only thing that matters is marketing and sales. You know you're good enough to help clients achieve results. If it's one-on-one, cool. If it's group, it doesn't matter. But all that matters now is that you get the message out that you exist, that you can help people. Because if no one knows who you are, it doesn't matter how good you are. So marketing is like sales to many people, right? Sales is what I'm talking about here is a one-on-one conversation with a prospect who said, I'm interested in possibly working with you. Tell me more. And now you're having this conversation on Zoom or on phone with them, and you present your offer and they say, cool, I need to think about it. Or, I'll just have to run this by my husband or whatever the situation is. You need to get very good at, number one, pre-handling those issues. And if they do come up, handle them. But essentially have a conversation with someone where they see this as the only possible solution for them. And selling is very, very important. Remember, we're not selling a $10 widget. You're selling a premium price coaching program. And you have to learn the mechanics of how to do that. Marketing gets them in the door. Sales closes, enrolls the client. And if you don't like selling, that's fine. It's just mostly because you're probably not that good at it. And that's totally cool. Like you probably weren't good at walking when you learned. None of us were. So all of this stuff is a skill or a set of skills that you can learn as long as you have the desire to do so. And I can tell you this, if you don't learn marketing and sales, you will never have the financial independence that you might be seeking. And you will not help the number of people you want to help. You'll be stuck in a low-paying job, working for someone else, building someone else's dream. Or if you have your own business, you will have a business that makes little to no money. And then you'll be playing with all the latest shiny objects and the tactics, thinking that the latest Canva template is going to give you more followers on social media, which it's not. Because again, you're delaying the inevitable of learning the important skills of converting human beings into paying clients. And it doesn't feel comfortable at first, but it's the most important thing you have to do. Okay. Now, again, all that saying that what you're delivering on the back end is good enough to produce a result for your clients if they show up and do the work. And I'm not saying that the product or the solution is important because you'll certainly make it better over time, but you have to get money coming into your business because otherwise you won't be in business. So we talk about marketing, we talk about sales, all of that combined is important. But what's even just as important, if you will, is building an acquisition system, is a system to acquire clients largely on your behalf, largely on autopilot. Because there's 2 ways of doing this. One, you can post content forever, which is valuable. The problem is that it just takes a very long time to get traction. It took me 7 years in my first business to make my first $1 million doing that. Option number 2 is you can have a system that has more leverage, that allows people to come into your world, with more automation. And with that type of system, you can move a lot faster. And so in our world, we call that a perfect client pipeline. That's how we built our business, Healthpreneur, from zero, to multiple 8 figures. And it allowed us to go from $0 to $1 million in 7 weeks. So that uses a little more paid traffic, so again, ads, etc. But if you don't want to start there, that's totally cool. Eventually, I would strongly consider it. Nonetheless, you want to be able to have a predictable system for bringing clients into your world. Because if you think that relying on word of mouth or posting and praying is going to build your business, you're going to be spending a lot of time hoping that things are going to get better. So really thinking about how to build a system, and a system means saves you serious time, energy, and money, right? It's going to do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. And if you want to learn more about what that could look like, I'm sure there's a link in the description that shows you how we help install our client acquisition system into our clients' businesses so they have more predictability into their world. Invest in mentorship as early as possible. The biggest mistake that I made when I started my business in 2005 was I thought I could figure things out on my own. And secondarily, I didn't think I could afford to hire a coach because I wasn't making a lot of money. I was making poverty line income, like $6,000 my first year. And I was doing that wasn't much better the second and third year. So I thought I couldn't afford it. But, the reality is I couldn't afford not to. Because had I hired a coach early on, I would have made way more money because I would have learned what I didn't know. And if you're not where you want to be, it's simply because you don't know what you don't know. You're lacking information, you're lacking certain skills, and you're lacking accountability to move you forward. And that's what coaching provides. That's exactly what you provide to your clients. And the earlier you invest in yourself, the faster and bigger your business will grow. If you're talking with a prospective client who wants to lose weight and they haven't been able to do so for 10 years, do you think they'll get better results with your help or without your help? Yeah, exactly, with your help. Would it have been better for them to work with you 9 years ago? Of course it would have, right? So it's the same idea in your business. It's like you went to school, you became a health coach, you invested thousands of dollars and a lot of your time. Why would you expect anything other than that to then grow your business? Because maybe you got, a module in your health coaching certification around how to build a business, which was probably very light, like a sprinkling of salt on how to set up an Instagram account. That's probably the extent of it. But if you don't know the ins and outs of how to attract leads, convert clients, and deliver results, you really should consider hiring a coach who's been there and done that many, many times. And a word of caution, do not choose the cheapest option because you always get what you pay for in life. And the most expensive advice is free advice. The second most expensive advice is cheap advice. So when you look at options for hiring a coach who's been there and done that, who works exclusively with health professionals, who's been in the industry for many, many years, who has a proven track record and a good reputation and values that align with yours, don't look for the cheapest price. Like you have to look because what you're going to always make more money, but you can't make more time. And I can't tell you how many clients have come into our world and they say, I wish I would have known about you sooner. And that's part of what drives our business. Like it drives me, like we want to build Healthpreneur into a household name. And I will not stop until every single health coach, health professional, new, old, or soon to be, knows exactly who we are and why they should consider working with us. Because that's the problem, is that there's a lot of shady coaches out there who had a good month, who have very little track record of business success, and they think that it's easier to help people with their business than it is to grow their own. And so you got to be very careful about who you take advice from. And that's why I put this information on YouTube for free. It's like, I want you to go through all of my videos, go through this channel, consume every piece of content I have, and then you can decide. You'll see that no one else in our space produces the level of content or the quality of content that I do. And at some point in the future, whenever you're ready, and ideally sooner than later, if you're like, you know what, I think this would help me the most, right? And I'm not here to, solicit business. Like you do what you want to do. And whether we work together or not doesn't matter to me. What matters most is that you find someone who can show you the way and hold you accountable so you can move a lot faster than you ever will on your own. The next thing I want to share with you in terms of advice so that you're not broke as a health coach comes back to the content stuff. We talked about marketing, we talked about sales, and we talked about the two options. Like you can do the organic posting and you've got paid traffic. Those are typically the two main ways. I believe you should do both, right? Now, how much of a mix you want to do of either one is up to you. But on the content side, here's the thing, is the one thing you have that is the biggest asset for you and your business is your expertise. And I would encourage you to create content that is better than what other people charge for and give it away for free. So if you look at the videos on this channel, there is more content that is probably more tactical, more valuable than what a lot of other coaching programs charge for. And the reason for that is because, number one, I live in a world of abundance and I just want to give freely, and I would encourage you to do so as well. Because here's the thing to consider, is that if you have 100 people in your audience, let's just use a bundle of 100 people, 98 of those people will never work with you, okay? So they're followers, they're on your email list, etc. And if all they see of you is very surface level, mediocre content, that's all they know of you. So if you saved your best stuff for behind the payment gate, 2% of your audience gets the real you. But what if you gave away your best stuff so that 100% of the people public facing saw your best stuff? Do you think that might improve your odds of those people potentially working with you? The answer is yes. Because people will choose to work with you based on what they've already experienced, not what they're expecting to experience. So if you share your best stuff, they will be blown away. And they're more likely to feel confident and safe to take the next step with you. Now, are all of your people going to do that? No. Are some people going to run with your information and take it and go with and do and like never work with you? For sure. Are a lot of people still going to do nothing with it? You better believe it. And the reason for that is because the transformation starts at the transaction. So if they're not paying you, you can still give away your best stuff and they're still most likely not going to do anything with it. So you don't lose by giving away your best content. You only win because you build a better reputation with your audience, you are more valuable in their eyes, and you are more likely to move a higher percentage of them into paying clients when they are ready. Cool? And finally, the last piece of advice I'll provide for you is treat your business like a business. Get a business credit card, please, as a starting point. I can't tell you how many people I've spoken to. They're like, I don't believe in credit. I don't have a credit card. I'm like, how are you running a business? Oh, yeah, that's right. You don't actually have a business. You have a hobby. Treat your business like a business because then your business will treat you accordingly. If you're here to build a little hobby, pay the bills, make a few grand, don't even bother. I'm just telling you, it's not even worth it. It's the same level of effort to make $1,000 as it is to make $1 million. Just put in the effort to build something substantial. And it's not even the money. It's the people you're serving. You're going to help more people. You're going to build a better quality of life. You're going to build something that transforms more lives. Just like build something, okay? Don't just like, I'm going to get a couple clients. I don't want to charge too much, blah, blah, blah. Like, do the work because it's not just about you. It's about the people that need your help. Playing small is selfish. And it's okay to start this as a side hustle. Maybe you're working a job right now. Maybe you're in a clinic or a gym and you want to start your thing. That's cool. But treat the thing on the side like the future, like the dream. And you have to make sacrifices now to build the success you want to build toward. So little things like have a business credit card, eventually incorporate your business. I didn't incorporate my business for 3 years because my small-minded accountant suggested I don't. I stay a sole proprietor and I make less than $30,000 a year, so I wouldn't have to pay extra in tax. Like that was the advice I was given for 3 years. So I'm, stupid enough to take advice, to take that advice for 3 years. I'm saying this because if you think small, you will act small. And if you act small, you might as well not even be in business at all. So get a credit card for your business. You're not buying shoes. You're investing in yourself. You're investing in personal development. You're investing in skills. You're investing in something, right? You have to probably have a CRM to acquire opt-ins, leads, to build your email list. If you're eventually going to run ads, you need a credit card to pay for ads. There's no way around it. You need to treat your business like a business. Look at if you were to open up a clinic or a gym, you would have a pretty substantial outlay of cash. And the beautiful thing about building an online business is it is insignificant compared to that. I'm always amazed that when I talk with health professionals who have clinics with $20,000 a month in overhead, and then they complain about paying $100 a month for a simple online tool that will run their whole business. And I'm like, no, you know what? Just stay in the clinic. Keep doing that. So you have to treat this like a business because if you don't, it won't be a business. Anyone can be a coach. Anyone can have an online business. And because of that, there are a lot of people who don't deserve to be in business and they won't be in business very long because they're not good enough. But if you make the decision to be great, if you make the decision to treat your business like a real business, as if you were opening a restaurant or an airlines or a clinic or a gym, and you take it as seriously as that, and the good news, without the huge outlay of capital, then you will act in a way that will reward you at a higher level. This is my belief, one of the biggest reasons more health coaches are not successful is because they have such a small vision. How much do you want to make? I'd be happy with $5K a month. Why not $5K a day? Well, I don't want to be I want to help everyone. You're not going to help everyone. I want to make it accessible for everyone. You're not going to make it accessible for everyone. You don't need to be a martyr in the service of other people. You can make a lot of money and help a lot of people without compromising the quality of care you're providing to them. Think bigger. And if you're having a tough time thinking bigger, all the more reason to hire a coach who will stretch you to think bigger. Because everything you do and how you show up on a daily basis is 100% a reflection of the movie playing in your mind. And if that movie is a short documentary, like a 5-minute short, small little reel, that's a very different life you live compared to someone who's building this unbelievable 5-part saga that's going to transform the world. So those are a number of pieces of advice for new health coaches who don't want to be broke. And when I say don't want to be broke, I mean you're actually going to build a great business that helps a lot of people, allows you to live a beautiful quality of life in the process. And if this resonates with you, let me know in the comments below. And more importantly, subscribe to the Healthpreneur channel today. As I mentioned before, I've got hundreds of other videos on this channel to help you with your mindset, your marketing, your sales, your client delivery, and literally everything you need to grow a thriving health coaching business. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video. In today's video, I'm going to share with you 44 online business cheat codes I know at 44 that I wish I knew at 24. So if you want to get a pen and paper, you're going to want to jot these down.